Hey everybody, it's Tom Foster on the World of Marketing, and today I've got a special guest, my good buddy and client, Nate Amendola. Nate, welcome to the World of Marketing podcast. How are you, my friend?
Tom, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me here. I've been looking forward to this conversation. I'm really excited to chat. Let's get into it.
Yeah, for sure. So Nate, you are a lawyer.
Yes.
And we're going to get into the story, but you're up in Nantucket, a little island up in Massachusetts, right? So,
well, not quite. I'm south of Boston now. I'm in a town called Hingham. I opened my own practice in Nantucket, and I'm sure we'll get into this, or I hope we do. But the practice grew, and I left Nantucket, and now I'm based in Boston. But I still have plenty of work out there. Yeah, so I'm not Nantucket based, but I do have a lot of Nantucket work.
But that's where you get a lot of work from up there, and that's kind of unique.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Nantucket's a unique place, right? The population's really grown in the last 20 years or so. It used to be sort of a summer community, and it still is, but there's still a large population of there's now a large population of folks who live out there. It's really become a unique place. So
how many people live out there?
I bet you there's well, in the summer it's probably close to 80 to 100,000.
Wow.
During the 8 to 10 weeks of prime summer. And I bet you in the off season, I'm guessing here, but it's probably 15 to 20,000. It's a lot.
You got to take a ferry out there to get out there and all that?
You do. So it's 30 miles off the coast of Cape Cod. You have to either take a ferry or fly. They've got these fast ferries now that they've been going for about 20 years. And those are about an hour. But you can't bring your car over on those. So the car ferry's 2.5 hours. The fast ferry is an hour. Yeah. And that fast ferry has really changed things out there because people, there are people that take that on and off every day to either work on Nantucket but live in the Cape, or live on Nantucket and work on the Cape. So it's really interesting, and a lot of folks. That's what
you used to do.
No, we lived. So I was so my Genesis story, Tom, if I can.
Yeah, let's hear the Genesis story.
Okay. I was a lawyer at a big Boston law firm. A big international law firm. There's about probably 500 or 600 lawyers. I did that for a number of years. We can get into that if we want, but that really just wasn't, and I was incredibly successful in what I was doing. I just frankly really didn't like the work. And so I convinced those guys that I could actually bring in more business by working in Nantucket full time. And this is before COVID. So this is before people were working remotely. And I said, all right, yeah, go out there. So I moved out there, which is unheard of. And I was working remotely, trying to get some business. And I realized that just wasn't the right role for me. And I loved Nantucket. And so I decided to leave the firm, start my own practice, sort of a general practice, doing civil litigation, some corporate work, some family law work, and some criminal defense, which is all I do now. I started my own firm out there when I was, 35, it's kind of scary to do.
So good for you, man.
Yeah. It's been great. So I was doing that, and I was a professional fly fishing guide out there as well. And I don't do that anymore now because I'm too busy, but that's something I've done through college and law school. So I've done professional fishing for 20 years. So we were in Nantucket. It was great out there. We loved it. I miss it dearly. That's sort of still our center of gravity, but my business started to grow, and I really started to want to focus exclusively on criminal defense, which is, again, what I do now. And you could do that out there. I don't think you could do just that out there. And that's all I wanted to do. And I'm sure you're not going to talk about the one thing. Because you and I love talking about that.
Yep.
So I had to leave because I wanted to grow my practice. So we came to south of Boston, where my wife is from, and just loving it.
There you go, man. And let's talk about The One Thing. The One Thing is a great book. You and I have talked about, and great segue. here you are. You did all that. You're still a young guy, and you got your own practice, and you're doing the one thing, which is criminal defense now.
Yeah. So I really feel strongly about this. And I know you and I have talked a lot about this, but I read The One Thing. That's Gary Keller from Keller Williams Realty. I don't know, a couple years ago, and it just really struck a tone with me. I think I had already known those principles and those concepts, but the book, as you know, but for our listeners, it's basically, look, if you're going to be great at something, you want to truly do something, you must do that one thing and that one thing only. And it's a little bit more than that too. The book talks about how you attack the one domino that's going to make everything else easier to do and all that stuff. But I really feel strongly about this, and this is something I tell potential clients. Look, I only do one thing and one thing only, and that's criminal defense. There are lots of lawyers, and some of them are good, that do criminal defense and civil litigation and family law and corporate law. And I think that's kind of the old school model. And there are definitely some good lawyers that do that. But, if I've got a heart problem or something, I want to go see a heart doctor.
Right. Exactly.
And the best heart doctor. And I live in Boston, so it's like, thank God I don't have any health problems like that. But I want to go see a heart doctor. I want to see the guy or the girl who is the best cardiovascular surgeon.
Right.
Right. I don't want to go to somebody.
That's all they do.
That's all they do. Right. I don't want to go to somebody who's a little heart, a little brain, a little lung. Right. And that's scary to me. Right. And so as I think about what clients need, I'm like, well, I think they want somebody who does just one thing, criminal defense, and goes really, really deep on it, And so I have, over the course of the last several years, pared down my practice, and now it is just criminal defense. And I tend to represent people. I do have all sorts of different matters, but a lot of my Nantucket stuff is drugs and DUIs or OUIs. That's what we call them out here. And some, almost everything I do touches drugs or alcohol, because
that's how people get in trouble.
That's how people get in trouble. Yeah. And
we were just talking about that, both of us being sober guys now.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's how great we feel. And,
yeah.
For me, it was a lifestyle thing. We talked about this, about just wanting to get healthy and training yourself to do the hard thing, right? It's hard to say when you're out at, when you're a young guy or whatever, to be at a social event and not to grab a beer, right? And I wanted to train myself to, discipline. I love discipline. And actually I hate it.
You're a Buddhist too, right? I mean,
yeah.
Very disciplined guy.
Yes, I am. And that's by training, because if I'm not disciplined, I can't perform at the level I want to perform. And I don't feel good. There's a book by a guy named Jocko Willink. Do you know who Jocko is?
I know. I met Jocko.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. He seems like a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. He's
Navy SEAL.
Yeah. Just a total badass. Navy SEAL, super smart.
Got a great podcast.
That's right. And so Jocko's got, good guys. I think it's the book's called Discipline Equals Freedom, or maybe that's his.
Discipline Equals Freedom. Okay. And that's kind of his thing. Actually, I just was at the Marine Corps Museum this past weekend with my son, and they've got his book up there in the Marine Corps Museum, like all over the place. I was like, this is so cool, because I know Jocko. I met him a couple years ago at a Dave Freeze event, where this was right before he got so big. Like you couldn't, now he's, costs tens, 20, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get him to come speak. Back then, I think that this is before he hit his pace. So I was very fortunate. I'll have to send you the pictures of us together.
Yeah,
but
well, I'd love to know the
great
fact that
guy.
you know somebody famous.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny that he's famous now. I guess he is, but so his sort of mantra is discipline equals freedom,
Yep.
which also really resonated with me, because when you're disciplined on things, you can first off, it feels good to be disciplined, right? After you build the discipline muscle, and it allows you, you can have a cheat day, so to speak, depending on what you're doing every once in a while, and not feel terrible about it. So discipline has become, in the last 5 or 6 years, a really important part of my life. Um, and one of the things I love to talk about, since you brought it up, and since I can talk about myself here, I'm going to.
It's exactly what this is about. It's all about Nate.
I've been practicing Buddhist Vipassana meditation, which is insight meditation, for probably the past 5 or 6 years. And if I can, I'm telling everybody I know, it is, and it's not religious, okay? It's philosophical, but it is. A panacea is a strong word, but I might use it here. It really is. It's where I get if there's any superhuman strength or superhuman element about myself, it comes from Buddhist meditation and practice.
That's great.
And thank you. And I think it is too. And I'm trying to tell as many people as I can, because it helped me so much. And I'm trying to tell as many people as I can, listen, if you're feeling a little bit blue, I used to get the blues, Tom. I still do every once in a while. Okay. If you're feeling a little bit blue, yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. If you're feeling a little bit blue, or, in my profession and yours too, there's a lot of anxiety, in what I do. And I think all of us have this. Listen, I have a way to tame your anxiety. It's no drugs, no pills, right? You could do it by going within. I could teach,
right.
And I'm not, the Buddha's been teaching this shit for 2,500 years.
Right.
Like, this is real shit. Can I swear on this?
Yes, you can say, yes, this is R-rated or whatever. I fucking swear all the time.
Great. Good. Well, now that we got that, now that I know I could do that, I've got a foul mouth, Tom. I just do. It's really powerful stuff. It works. And it's just like anything else. You've got to build, we're staying on this discipline theme. It's just about being disciplined. You got to do it every single day. And it's just like,
so you meditate every day?
Tom, I haven't missed the day of meditation in probably 6 years. Not one.
So how long do you meditate for?
I meditate for right now 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. So I do.
First thing in the morning?
Yeah, it's the first. It is the first thing that I do in the morning. So my morning routine is really regimented, and I'm happy to tell you about it if you want to.
Yeah.
I do not sleep with my cell phone near me. Okay. It goes on do not disturb at 7 o'clock, or maybe it's 8. I don't know. And it goes in my closet. Okay. I've got my alarm set for 4:30 in the morning.
Me too.
Listen.
Hoorah.
Yeah, exactly. Or an early bird catches the worm, man. The mornings, master the morning, master yourself.
Yes.
Listen, and maybe you have this too. I mean, it's not like I jump out of bed like I'm tired as fuck, right? Like it's but you have to train yourself to do this.
Yep.
So I'm snoozing by 9 or 9:30. My alarm goes off, and I sit up and I'm like, oh God, a little groggy, but I remember something from, are you a Marcus Aurelius fan? The Stoic philosopher king Marcus Aurelius.
I don't, that name is familiar, but you got me on that one.
All right. There's a great book called Meditations. It's also, it's a few thousand years old. Marcus Aurelius was the Roman emperor, back in the day. And he wrote this great, it's really their notes to himself called now I guess they call them, it's entitled Meditations. It's a book that they were notes. They were basically his notes. And one of the things he talks about was, it's easier to be warm and stay under the covers, right? All of us want to do that. You wake up when you stay under the covers, but that's not what we're meant for, right? A bee gets up in the morning and makes honey, right? And, ants go to work and they don't complain about it. Humans are just meant to get up and do the stuff they're supposed to do: work, play, rest, and sleep, like anything else, has its limit, like food and drink, right? And when you're ready to wake up, you've had your fill and you just get up. So I remind myself of that every morning. And I wake up a little groggy, but I do it. I turn off the alarm, and the first thing I do, Tom, is I've got a thing of water next to me, and I try to, 8 to 20 ounces of water. First thing, brush my teeth, and then I still haven't looked at this, except this is critical, except to turn off the alarm. Okay.
Right.
I don't want my cortisol spiking, seeing text messages and emails. We'll talk about, actually, I don't see emails because I don't have email on my phone. And we could talk about that in a little bit if you want. But you can't look at this thing, man. This is bad. This is really bad for you.
It's a tool. You got to use it as a tool. You can't have it control you. You control it. I'm with you on that 100%. You and I are so aligned like this.
Yeah, man. That's great. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. I mean, I get up every morning at 4:30. Same thing. I go down. I hit that snooze a couple of times to get, but I am up and go down, drink a glass of water, and then make coffee for my wife and me. And then I go up and wake her up at 5 a.m. And then she and I are out the door by 5:20, walking the dogs 2 miles.
Oh man!
Every morning, and we've been doing this for months and months and months, and it's been fantastic. It's been through the winter, through the snow and the ice and the cold, and the only thing that will stop us is pouring down rain. That's something that we will not walk in the pouring down rain. That's the only thing that will stop us. But other than that, we're out there. It has been so great, and it's not meditating, but it is so great for us. I mean, we just celebrated our 31st anniversary this week, actually.
Congratulations.
A couple days ago. So yeah, I made it 31 years, and it's like a re-up every year. It's a renewal. And so, but every morning, that's when she and I talk about everything. We got 5 kids. We got two grandchildren, one coming. So she's a teacher, she's very busy. I'm very busy. So it's really our only time, because at the end of the day, we're freaking exhausted, right? We're dealing with soccer or whatever else, and just dealing with the end of the day. So this is our time, and it is cathartic for me. And okay, anyway, but back to you. So you do that, you get up, and then what, do you meditate after that?
Yeah. So
how do you do it? Do you have like a place you go in your house, or what do you do?
Okay. So these are great questions. So there's a book that I read about 5 or 6 years ago called 10% Happier by Dan Harris, who I think was or is, I know he was a newscaster on Good Morning America. And he wrote this great book called 10% Happier. And it chronicles, it's a must read. It's one of my most gifted books. I highly recommend it. 10% Happier, Dan Harris.
I'm writing this down.
Good, because I think you're going to love it. And so Dan talks about his journey to becoming 10% happier. And he becomes 10% happier by practicing Vipassana Buddhist meditation. I don't know that he actually outwardly says what it is, but that is what it is. So he gets aligned with this teacher named Joe Goldstein, who's actually from my neck of the woods in Boston, who sort of brought, he and this guy named Jack Kornfield and the gal named Sharon Salzberg and a couple others were Peace Corps volunteers in the 70s in Eastern Asia, and became Buddhist monks and nuns. And they learned, I think it's the Thai tradition of Buddhism, and they brought this back to America. And so it's sort of American Buddhism is Buddhism stripped down of its beliefs and sort of it's really philosophy. There's not American Buddhism doesn't really talk much about, at least the form that I know, about deities and sort of beliefs and gods and things like that. It's really a philosophy. But anyway, Dan talks about this a little bit in his book. So he started this meditation routine and with this teacher named Joe Goldstein. I read that book. I absolutely loved it. Dan, thank you for writing it. And then he started an app called 10% Happier app. I subscribe to it. I've got the yearly subscription. It's wonderful. It's how to meditate. But I think what's really important, and I'm not sure that they outright say this, but it keeps it one tradition. So there's all sorts of apps on, I don't know, Headspace and Peloton and Mirror about meditation, which is great. But I think, and this is just my opinion, I think that stuff gets diluted a little bit. This is a very specific set of instructions and a very specific tradition on how to do this. And so they've got courses on how to do this. I've watched all the courses. They've got guided meditation. I no longer do that. Sometimes I do. 90% of the time I do unguided meditation. And really what it is I'm just watching. I have an anchor. Usually it's my breath. Sometimes it can be sound. Sometimes it could be the feeling of my feet on the ground or my hands in this position. Sometimes it can be, or you can have an open awareness and just notice everything. But the point is you want to notice. So I will watch my breath come in and I will watch my breath go out. And I will do this for 20 minutes. And my mind, I'm getting better at this because my meditation muscle is strengthened, but your mind is going to wander. My mind wanders all the time, right?
You got to bring it back.
You got to bring it, exactly. So the moment in meditation, or at least in Vipassana meditation, is when you notice that your mind is wandering, when you notice that you're no longer on your anchor, on your breath, on the noise that you're hearing. It's when you notice, I'm thinking about the podcast I have to do with Tom today. Or when you notice, what am I going to do for dinner? Or, oh shit, I've got a trial in 2 hours. Am I fully prepared for this? Right? And that's going to happen. You're never going I don't think you're ever going to eradicate that. And so you strengthen your muscle to notice and remind yourself that you're thinking. And Joe Goldstein in the app tells you, you say to yourself, a little mental note, thinking. So I will do that for 20 minutes. I frankly love to do it for 30 or 45 or even an hour. I just don't have that much time right now.
Right. And so that is hard. That is hard. Like doing 20 minutes, congratulations to you on that and staying centered every day for 20 minutes to meditate. That is fantastic.
Well, yes, but Tom, the weirdest thing happens, man. Time gets fucking weird when you're really meditating deeply. 20 minutes can sometimes seem like 2. Yeah. Or it can seem like an hour. But often now for me, it's those 20 minutes go quickly, and not because I am thinking, but I'm just so constant. I'm reminding myself of thinking. Right? Oh, there I am thinking right now. That's thinking me. And now I'm getting to the space where I can just notice and being aware of everything at the same time, and it's really cool. So I think that helps me in the day. So I'm more mindful on a day-to-day basis, all day long, because I practice it all day long.
Have you read the book Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle?
I haven't, but I'm certainly familiar with it.
You've got to read that. That is right up your alley. And I read that years ago.
Okay.
And that changed my life. That is what,
and
it is all in what we're talking about, the power of now, the moment. There's only one moment. This is it. There's the past has already happened. There's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing that you can do to change it. And the future has not happened yet. And that when the future happens, it happens in this moment. So there's only one moment. And so really it is, and that is pure meditation, is focusing on now, this moment in time. And your brain, by design, and your ego is constantly pulling you out of the moment to have you worry and fret, think about stuff that you've done in the past. And like you said, are you worried about, like thinking about your trial, or thinking about what's going on with a client, or now we have all these devices and all these distractions that pull us, that are constantly designed, to take us away from the moment. But I'm with you, and everybody that's listening. I mean, like, you've all these great books that you're talking about, Nate, and like Power of Now is a must read for everybody. Eckhart Tolle, fantastic book. It's funny because, real quick, I'll tell you the story. Years ago, Buster, my partner, the CEO of Foster Web Marketing, it was one year over Christmas break that I read this book about gamification, and I was like, we have to do this with DSS. Everybody read this book over the holidays and then report back to me. And everybody's like, yeah, whatever, Tom. So after the holidays, Buster, my partner, my right-hand man, did you read this book? He's like, no. He's like, I read The Power of Now. And he's like, you need to read The Power of Now, Tom. And this is back when I was drinking, and back when I was a disaster. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. But I read that book almost out of spite. I was like, how dare he not do as I told him to do? And instead he read this other book, and about spirituality. And anybody that knows Buster Tate, like, that is a stretch for him to be like promoting a book about spirituality. And so I read it and it blew my mind. I recommend that you read it. I recommend that you listen to the audio of it, because his voice, because he's the one that's saying the book or speaking the book, and his voice is so hypnotic. And I meditate on that. I meditate and have in the past on listening to him.
Oh yeah.
Talk about read his book. And I go back to that. I still go back to that whenever I get in trouble and out of alignment with myself. And it's just so powerful, just so powerful. And so all these things that you're doing, all these disciplines, for you, here you are, and it's very interesting to me. You're doing all this defense work, this criminal defense work, which is basically taking care of your clients, people that have gotten themselves in a heap of trouble, doing things that you don't do yourself. You have chosen not to do that. And so you've got this, right? You see what I'm getting at here, is that, and me, you quit drinking years ago. I guess you said 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And got away from it. You didn't get in any trouble. It almost ruined my life, drinking and drugs. And I quit all that stuff, but that was after, I had a DUI years ago. I got in some trouble drinking, and I was always on the edge of getting in much bigger trouble and just able to get out of it because I had good lawyers, right? Which is what you do.
Yeah.
And what I want to talk about is that that struggle, and there's probably a better word, but that's the one that comes to mind, that you must have in working and taking care of your clients and getting them out, when you're like, I don't do any of that stuff, man. And I bet you that you're probably, you're helping them in way more ways, because I know a lot of lawyers that are criminal defense lawyers that are just as bad as the clients that they're taking care of. But here you are on the other side, you recognize it, right?
Well, I'm giggling because I've never really thought about it like this.
Yeah,
but when you say it, I'm like, oh, shit, Tom's kind of right. But here's what I have to say about that. That could have been me.
Yeah.
Because I've done all that shit.
Yeah.
I could have been in trouble, for things like that, right? And so I empathize with them, and I get what it's, I've struggled too. I still struggle every day, right? I mean, in all the ways that all of us do, with, happiness and self-image and, taking care of my family, right? We all have these struggles. I still struggle with that. So
everybody does.
Everybody does, man. Listen, we are all brothers and sisters here, and I mean that. I mean that. And some of us, I don't know how, some of us are in better situations and circumstances than others. And this is not trite. This is true, man. I really feel this. So the brothers and sisters that I represent, I could have been those guys. And I am them, right? These things could have happened to me. And so I have seen, I'm on the path. Through a bunch of different ways, I got placed on the path, and I want to help them, because it's painful to me, man. I had a really bad federal sentencing hearing a couple of weeks ago, and dude, I was crying in open court, bawling, man. It was, wow. I could not keep it together, because my client was going to jail, and I was upset, and she's upset, and there were some circumstances around her case that were really touching to me, and I feel this shit, man. I don't want to hide that. I don't think the judge liked it. I think she thought I was feigning it. I'm telling you, Your Honor, I wasn't. I was genuinely upset. I mean, I was really losing it, man. I mean, I think people were rolling their eyes. And, I wouldn't do what she did, but, that I feel this stuff, man. I really do. And I want to help people. I want to show them that, look, addiction's real. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not an addiction specialist, but, in one form or another, we're all addicted to something. And I have some ways that, you could be more mindful, and that you can relate to your predicament differently. And so I gift all my clients, I've got 30 days free of this app I've been telling you about, 10% Happier. And I tell my guys, listen, I'm going to give you a couple things when you become my client. All right. I'm going to give you 30 days to 10% Happier. And I'm going to give you a couple books. So I give them some books. And it ranges. And I say, look, if you don't read this stuff, it's all good. But if you do and you want to engage in a conversation with me about it, that's awesome. I'll engage in a conversation with you about this. And so the books range. So right now we're giving away The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, which is my number one. An unbelievable, a guy named Adam Markell, who you should have on this podcast. He's another lawyer and sort of a motivational speaker, self-optimization guru. He's a beautiful man. Adam Markell. I'm sorry I'm plugging him, but he's great. He wrote a book called Pivot. He's got another book that I'm about to read. He's a wonderful man. But Adam told me about this book, and he said, you got to read this. This is probably 4 or 5 years ago. So I read The Untethered Soul, and it talks about all this shit is coming together, right? It's inner freedom. How can you be free? And it's when you're untethered, when you're unattached to things, when you just,
Right.
and this is Buddhism, right? What is, this is the universal truths of Buddhism, right? You're grasping at something, you want to feel higher, you want to feel more drunk, you want to feel
Right.
more orgasmic, right? You want to get there, right? And then and then as soon as you get there, you want it again.
Yeah, you
right?
can't. It's never enough.
It's the hedonic treadmill. It's never enough. Or you want, oh, this is painful. I want to step back from this pain. I want to get away from this, right?
Right.
This is the way we all work, right? And so when you can detach yourself from that and just recognize this is pain, this is wanting that cookie, this is wanting, to smoke that joint, this is wanting to drink that beer, this is wanting to, check my phone, right? All this stuff. When you can, and it's hard, man, but when you train yourself to step away from this through meditation, and when you can see that and literally name it, this is grasping, this is wanting to get away, this is the feeling, you're naming it. It's really powerful. So all of these resources that we're talking about are in this realm, but Untethered Soul talks about that too. So we give people Untethered Soul. We give people, we've been giving people, there's a great book called Mindfulness in Plain English, which is a great, it's my number one, this is how you meditate guide. It's unbelievable. It's meditation instructions in plain English. It's Vipassana meditation instructions.
This is fantastic. So you're a lawyer that is not only defending them and trying to get their either sentence reduced or thrown out or whatever, if they've gotten a DUI or what is it, OUI?
Yeah, OUI in Massachusetts.
OUI in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
They've gotten busted with weed or whatever. They've gotten themselves into some trouble. They come to you, and not only are they going to get a great lawyer that gives a shit, but you're trying to help them with their life.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that is fantastic. What a great human being you are. Truly. I mean, truly, really. I mean, like, like you're, because you're going to get paid. I mean, and that's what you're doing it for. But here you're taking the extra step to help them. Now, my question is, how many of your clients grasp and take what you give them and run with it? What is your sense of that? Like, do you feel like you're really changing lives here?
Well, here's what I have to say about that. And this is sort of an apology to all of my existing clients. We can do better. We can have weekly or monthly meditations together, and we can commune in brotherhood and sisterhood on together. Although I'm not sure a lot of my clients want to see another, hey, there's my neighbor, what's he in trouble for?
Right.
But in any event, we can do better about this, because I think and this is what's so great about these types of conversations, because if you're anything like me right now, you're like, I've got a million ideas.
Yeah.
We could check in on them more, because right now what we're doing is basically, here are the resources. Let us know if you're interested, so we can be more engaging. But I think, look, you and I have talked a lot about avatar clients and fishing using the right bait for the fish you want to catch.
Right.
I would love to help everybody, but I can't. And I think
not everybody wants to be helped.
Yeah, well, it's true, or is ready, or like has the capacity to. That's exactly right. And so, and I think, and frankly, and I am going to plug your business if I can right now. I think we've got a website that you do that we love, that I think shows people our philosophy, right? And so people come to us sort of, okay, this guy's a little different. He's talking about, there's Buddhism on my website. There's, I've got you could see my philosophy. So I think people are pre-sold on, okay, this guy's a little bit different. So I think they come to us a little bit more warmed up for some of this stuff. But I do have to say, to answer your question, I think lots of people are like, look, man, I just got a DUI. I love you, bro, but like, I don't give a shit about your woo-woo Buddhist shit. Like, just solve this problem for me. And okay, brother, I got you all there. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Right. But there are certainly some people, I was emailing a client today about, there's a great book by Ryan Holiday called Obstacle is the Way,
yep.
which is about Stoic philosophy. Have you read that?
That is a great book. Yes.
Okay. I love that. And there's a great, I wish I had it in front of me, because, by the way, we're moving our offices because we're growing and we need more offices.
Hey, great for you.
Yeah, thank you. So all my books are all over the place, but there's a great map in the back of that book. So the thesis of the book is the obstacle is the way through, right? An obstacle is an opportunity. We got a little bit of a setback in one of my cases the other day. And I said to my client, I said, listen, I know this is a setback, but this obstacle is going to turn into an opportunity. Literally, I was copying, Stoic philosophy. And then he emailed me back a couple quotes about the same thing, right? And like, we just are clearly aligned on that issue. And so some of them definitely get it. And I think, but some of them are just, hey man, I've hired you to solve this problem, this acute problem. Thanks, but just focus on the law stuff, which I do. But so it's all good, man.
Yeah, some people and they get this problem resolved in one shape or another, one form or another, and some people get on the straight and narrow, and they get their act together, and some people just go back to their old habits again. Now, let me ask you this, because this has been we're almost at an hour here doing this, and this
Don't
is
say that,
like,
Tom. I'm just getting started, man.
I know. I mean, like, but I have a question.
Yeah.
You said that you stopped drinking.
I did. Yeah.
5-6 years ago. Was there an event that caused you to do that, or what made you have that decision for yourself?
Yeah. So the answer to that is no. I don't think so. I never had this was a lifestyle decision for me. I've been drunk before many times, right? Like, I have partied, like, I'm open with that. But I don't think it was ever, out of control or anything that was, extraordinary, anything different than most people in my age group. But I started about 5 or 6 years ago to get all of these Jocko Willink, Tim Ferriss, Untethered Soul stuff. And I realized that discipline, it was really important. And by the way, I've also was a lot bigger, right? I've lost a lot of weight and gained a lot of muscle. And I met this she's now my wife. I met this really great gal who was super healthy and hot, way higher than me. And I wanted to impress her, and she's all about this, holistic approach to life and being healthy. And so I think I just decided one day that it would be better for me holistically if I consumed no alcohol, right? Because we're talking about Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, everything in moderation, yep, and some things not at all. Now, for me, that something not at all was alcohol. Not because it was, like I was a mess. It just was an easy thing for me to kind of knock off, right? I like, I was fishing a lot at the time. I think I was guiding, so I was up at 4 a.m. It's hard to get up at 4 a.m. when you're out with your buddies at the chicken box in Nantucket till midnight, which is wicked fun. I love that shit, but so it was an easy way for me to sort of, it was an easy thing for me to knock off, right? And once you build that muscle, that resolve, it becomes easier to do everything, right? And so you get this sort of power of, yeah, I haven't done this in a long time. I'm feeling so good about things. I'm not going to eat cookies for a week or a month or a year, or I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the gym, 6 days a week. It just becomes easier. And so I think, you don't have to start with alcohol. You can start with making your bed. Make your bed every morning.
Right.
Jocko talks about this.
Yep.
It's an easy win. Just make your bed first thing in the morning. Make your bed. Drink a glass of water. Those things start there, and then you can build up to the hard shit, which may be hard, like giving up booze or drugs or whatever you're.
We're eating so much,
Or
right?
eating, totally, man.
Whatever
totally.
your thing is, whatever is hurting you, whatever your stuff is. But brother, I have enjoyed this very much. I hope that everybody else has enjoyed this. Nate Amendola, fantastic attorney for his clients, but even more so, a fantastic human being. I'm getting a little broken up over here, but
hey,
a
man.
fantastic guy, my man.
Thank you, dude. Listen, the feeling's mutual, Tom. I feel totally energized right now. I'm so grateful for those kind words. You and I are definitely brethren.
Yes.
I want to do this again. Thank you for this opportunity, buddy.
Thank you, my man. All right, everybody, and stand by, Nate. Thank you, everybody, for being on the show, for listening to Nate and Tom go on and on about this. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Tom and Nate from the World of Marketing signing off. We'll see you soon.